Wow, stories.
Am I the idiot for wanting to know my wife's family but not at the cost of remarrying? I, male 28, dated my wife, female 26, for 3 years before we got married a year and a half ago. I'm a white guy, and she is an Indian who moved to the States for college and settled with a job here. She made it clear to me sometime into our relationship that her family was not going to approve of her marrying outside of her religion, caste, and race. But we both decided to go for it regardless. We didn't have much money at the time either, so we eloped, or had a sweet ceremony with only our closest friends in attendance. Her parents didn't even know she was dating me at the time. Over the course of our relationship, she has gotten to know my family and friends incredibly well. My sisters treat her like a sister, and my parents love her, plus she is basically as close to my friends as me. However, despite the fact that I know she has very close ties to family and friends back in India, I have never met them, and I truly don't think I come close to understanding her culture or experiencing her traditions, which I think is important because we've decided to try for kids this year and want to raise them as proud of both identities. 6 months ago, she finally told her parents about me, not about us being married, but about her dating a white guy. Recently, they have finally started to come around a bit, and I decided it was probably high time I visit her home, her family, and her country. I brought this up with her, and she was initially quite hesitant about the idea. However, last night she sat me down and told me she is willing to take the trip, but it would require 2 things from me. For us to act as we are not currently married and to be willing to have a big wedding celebration likely back in India fairly soon, because she said things will move fast once I meet her parents. To clarify, she said we would not bear the financial burden, even though we're both quite well-to-do now. I told her I don't want to lie to them about our lives, and that it is probably better to simply tell them the truth and come clean. I also don't want to have another wedding ceremony when we already had one over a year ago that to me was absolutely perfect, and I would be very uncomfortable with the same. She broke down at this and told me she can't keep this secret from her parents any longer, and that I was being an AH for not understanding the fact that she doesn't have a choice in this, and it is the only way for our relationship to work. I don't think I was unfair in not wanting to deceive my in-laws, but maybe I misunderstood something, so am I the idiot? Everyone sucks here. It's not even remarrying, it's just having another celebration so that her family can be involved. I think this is a weird hill to die on. I can understand not wanting to lie, but like you said, you don't understand her culture as well as you'd like to. Everyone sucks here. You decided it was time for you to visit her family. She's hesitant, but says XYZ will make it so much easier for her and her family. You are stomping your feet and not wanting to do something that will help protect your wife, the one you love. Yeah, she sucks for hiding the relationship and marriage, but I can understand it. How exactly do you want to raise kids with knowledge of both identities when you are refusing everything wholeheartedly? You want her to cave and make herself and her family uncomfortable, but you say another wedding ceremony celebrating the 2 of you would make you uncomfortable? Where is the compassion for your wife in all of this? Am I the idiot for expecting my husband to prioritize me over our daughter? I, female 28, have 3 kids, male 9, male 6, and female 4, with my husband, 29 male. Yesterday I woke up at 4 a.m. in excruciating pain. Husband came home from work and dropped me off at the hospital. By 7 a.m. I was admitted for infection, and to have my kidney obstructed by a kidney stone. Now I do want to mention, I've had frequent kidney stones in the past, the last one being 9 months ago when I ended up in the hospital for 5 days. I used to be a frequent flyer, and at least once a month my kidneys would act up. I had surgery yesterday afternoon. Due to the infection, all they could do was place a stent. He visits me with the kids on my request before my surgery with our youngest, and then later with all of the kids. Now, before he came to visit me the first time, he asked what I needed from the house, and then instead of bringing me my belongings, decided to go to the library at 9 a.m. because he wanted to attend story time with my daughter at 10 a.m. I was upset, but in so much pain I let it go. Then today comes around. I messaged him at 8:30 confused. He hadn't even spoken to me since 7 p.m. last night, checking in on me. No good night, no good morning, nothing. He explained that he had just woken up and that he was late getting the boys to school because he forgot to set an alarm. He told me after he got them to school he would message me. Totally get it, no biggie. 1030 a.m. rolls around and I'm confused as to why he hasn't spoken to me. I ring his phone and he texts me and says, "Hi, now we can talk." I express how I'm hurt that he hasn't even spoken to me. He goes on to explain that he had to drop our daughter off at story time at 10. It's 10:30, and he says he's been sitting on his phone in the car since dropping her off. He did not once remember I was in the hospital. Not once did I cross his mind. Now I'm pissed and telling him that I take priority over her going to story time, and he goes on to say that she needs the social skills and so on. I am aware she needs social skills. In fact, on Tuesday, I took her to the Children's Museum during the school day because there's kids her age. She goes to the library 4 days a week during story time. I think he should have spoken to me and checked to see if I wanted company over him taking her to story time. Now, I honestly would have probably told him to take her, but the part that nags at me is he didn't even bother checking if I needed something or wanted visitors or if I was okay. This is where I may be the idiot. I think he should prioritize me being hospitalized over taking our kid to story time. I think being in the hospital is more important. TLDR. I'm in the hospital, and instead of checking on me, my husband took our daughter to story time and sat in his car for 30 minutes before I rang him up. I think me being in the hospital should be a priority. Edit. He is not working and will not be working during my hospital stay. I also work full-time and go to college full-time taking accelerated courses. There are 2 days in a month where I'm not working, don't have the kids alone for the full day, and don't have to be in Zoom for my classes. Edit. My main problem isn't that he took her to the library. My main problem is that he had no idea if I was okay for 15 hours and didn't bother to say a word to me. He could get her to story time, but he couldn't send me a text. That's all I wanted. The last time I had this procedure, I had to get a blood transfusion. My kidney stones aren't average, and I have a severely scarred kidney and ureter due to a doctor botching my first kidney surgery. My kidney is unable to pass even the smallest of stones without medical intervention. The earliest I'll be able to leave is Saturday if I'm lucky. There's a reason that I don't get to go home after a minor surgery. It's not minor when I get these problems. I'm on IV antibiotics and yet spiking a fever right now. Last edit, he has been offered help but refused it. Our close friend offered to help and he turned her down. His family lives 20 minutes away and he will not ask them for help. If they offer, they will refuse it. He has support that he will not take. You're the idiot. He's keeping the kids in their routine while you're sitting in a bed from a minor surgery. Grow up and entertain yourself. Not the idiot. Your husband could have spared you a thought and sent you some text messages that literally take 10 seconds to do. He was clearly just scrolling on his phone, not even thinking about you at all.